What's up, guys? This is Danny Ooks. Long overdue. We've been wanting to do this interview for a while now, right, Danny? This has been
Yeah, months in the making, like
months in the
literally,
making.
literally months.
Well, we're excited to have you now. And just to start it off, well, this is a very special man right here in the NFT space. And I want you to tell us really about how you just tell us about your journey getting into the NFT space and just about you in general.
Yeah, so I really love telling this story just because I don't know, it's kind of like the tried and true like underdog story in the NFT space. Like I found NFTs through gaming. So I'm a lifelong gamer, right? Like I always say like Paper Mario taught me how to read. Like that's, a joke, but also not a joke. I was 2 years old playing Paper Mario. So like lifelong gamer, which definitely plays into it. And last summer, obviously it was COVID. And so I was unemployed. I was getting checks, and I was like, all right, well, I live paycheck to paycheck anyway, and I can survive off like, $200 every 2 weeks. So I can stretch the $600 every 2 weeks. I can really stretch that out. So I started kind of investing into like Bitcoin and Ethereum and then some other stocks on like Robinhood. And I'm not sure what exactly did it, but I found out about Axie Infinity. I don't know how I found out about Axie, but this was in like late November or early December of 2020, which was around the same time I started working a job at Paychex. And so I was like, dude, like as soon as it clicked to me, like how it works and play to earn and like essentially like it's like a Fortnite skin, that's as soon as like that crossed my mind, it was like, so wait, you can actually own these digital assets beyond just paying for them. And so once that connected, it was like, all right, I got to tell everyone I know. And so I bought an Axie team. And at the time, Axies were like maybe $50 a piece. And so like, a decent investment at the time, considering I didn't really have a job or anything. And so I put the money in and I was able to start playing, and I started earning, because it's play to earn. So I was able to make upwards of like $5 to $10 a day. And just like at the time it was like, yo, that is insane. Like I was trying to tell all my friends and they were like, bro, you are stupid. Like you were playing, you paid $180 to play a video game that looks like a knockoff Pokemon. Like, what are you doing? And then obviously, that went the way it did. But before we even got to lift off in that regard, so I was like into NFTs and I'm like doing all this research. And then I found Top Shot. And then Top Shot is what really did it. Because I invested like 300, like, I don't know, like I think somewhere in total upwards of $3,000 in Top Shot. But at first it was like, I put in 25 to buy a pack and I ripped it. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. Instantly bought another 3 packs, held a couple of them, and then just kind of played Top Shot. And then through the end of December and then January, and then by February 28th or whatever, that's the day that it kind of hit its peak. And it was like, my account value was like $250,000. And so that
Whoa.
was like, yeah, in less than 3 months, I went from not knowing what a MetaMask browser was to my Top Shot wallet is worth $250,000. And so unfortunately I did not sell the top. I hodled all the way down and, my Top Shot account is worth like maybe 50K now. And like, I don't really mess with it too much, but it is what it is. But what was fortunate was that like it helped me get even further into NFTs and kind of validate my idea that like this is the future. And that's what I was telling all my friends, and none of them really understood it until a couple weeks in, because like I was doing Top Shot in end of 2020, right? And I was telling all my friends about it as soon as I was doing them, and they were like, you're stupid, again, you're dumb. And then only after 2 or 3 weeks did they start doing it. And that 2 or 3 weeks, that, not that it set them behind, but essentially like if they had started just a little bit sooner, I think they could be kind of in the same position I'm in, just because it's like, it was so much. Like I've not, in my life, I never had more than like $10,000 worth of anything, like besides like physical assets like TVs and like even my car, like I for my entire life, I've had like two or three cars, and they've never been, worth
Wow.
more than like $2,500. And so, like, really, it's not like some people really do come from poverty. Like, I'm
Mhm.
lucky enough to come from a decent middle lower class home, but like for the most part, it's just kind of been like, yeah, you work every day to get a paycheck every week, and then you pay the paycheck, your bills and stuff, and then you spend the rest on food and
Yeah.
whatever else. And so, like, it's just been wild. And then the things that really did it was, by the time we got to May, I had been in the game a little bit, flipped a little bit, Nifty Gateway, did that thing, and it was Bored Apes, ghosts. Really, I had like 6 ghosts, and I gave a bunch of them away, and Cool Cats. I know, isn't that bizarre? But those
No,
3
it's nice. It's
projects,
nice.
yeah, I only had 1 ape, which is unfortunate because I minted my original ape, and then I sold it for 4 ETH early on. So stupid for that, but it all led to the punk, and the
Yeah.
crypto punk was really that was my goal, and it's kind of it's crazy because now they're like so inaccessible. But at the
Yeah.
time, I bought mine for 44,000, which at the like I was like, damn, dude, this is a fat investment.
Yeah.
But it was, obviously they 10x'd in the past couple of weeks, but
Mhm.
you never know. But I framed it as, once I got my punk, and like I'm sure anyone could say this about like whether it's a Cool Cat or ape or like whatever else, people are like they really want that's their goal. It's like starting New Game Plus in NFTs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're that familiar with video games, but it's like,
Mhm.
now that you have your grand prize, it's like you beat the game. It's like
Mhm.
anything from this point on, it's like, it's all fun. And it's so, dude, it's so crazy. It really is. Like, when I started, like, again, I'm saying, like, I didn't have that much money. Like, if I had point 0.1 in my wallet, like if I had point 0.1 Ethereum, like, that was the goal. Because if I have point 0.1, that means I can probably mint something,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I can buy something on secondary. If I
Mhm.
see something, I can buy it. And it's like, in those early days of kind of learning the NFT space, when you don't have a lot of money and you're very naive, and like it's a lot. Like it is definitely a lot. Like, trying to get someone into the space, like,
Mhm.
I'm a patient person, don't get me wrong. Like, I love helping people, and I'm very good about just being zen with my time and giving to others. But it's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to get people into the space. So
Yeah.
hopefully
That's
that's
why
a
it's
decent introduction of who I am. I don't know,
a good intro.
I'm leaving so much stuff out. It's kind of hard. It's like literally 5 years worth of history in like 9 months. That's how it
Yeah.
feels. Like, I literally every day is something new. It's literally, and I quit my full-time job. Like, I was working at Paychecks. Now I'm just doing this. Like, I
Yeah.
wake up and my job is to scroll on Twitter and find the moves. Like,
Yeah.
that's
And
cool.
like you said that you said that it was very complicated to. You said it's very complicated to like understand, and I understand that because I'm constantly having people ask me every day because slowly, I mean, in the beginning, I was a little bit low key in terms of this. Like I became like my NFT business, and like my personal life was kind of not intermingled. But then obviously, the more followers and popularity you get, people start asking, and like they always want me to explain. And like me myself, I always wonder like where did it start? And what I love that what you said is that it starts with NBA Top Shot. And what was so good about NBA Top Shot was that it was so simple, and it really, I mean, it sounds like it introduced you to NFTs, and then you went in on NBA Top Shot. But after NBA Top Shot, right? Like you said that you put $3,000 into NBA Top Shot. Did you go? You start like you made the shift from looking at Top Shot NFTs to like the Ethereum OpenSea NFTs. Did you go all in once you found that, or were you hesitant at first, or how'd it go?
So this is how it worked out. So it started with Axie. Like, first and foremost, like, my
Mm-hmm.
first NFT was Axie before I even knew
Yeah.
about Top Shot. So it all stems back to video games. Like, I believe
Yeah.
that play to earn is the bigger focus. And then when I kind of made that realization late November, early December last year, it was like, all right, so let's do research and find more games, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
like more products that are like building NFT games. And there's a bunch of really scrubby ones, like, I'm not gonna lie. And among those really scrubby ones at the time of research, there were MLB champions, which were these like little bobblehead things that are still
Mm-hmm.
out but not that poignant. and NBA Top Shot. And at the time, I wasn't a huge NBA fan. Like a few years back, I was pretty big into it, but kind of fell off. And so I was hesitant on it. But then after that first pack rip experience, it was really like, damn, this is crazy. And so I think you're definitely right about how it did start for a lot of people for Top Shot.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I had a little extra luck, so to speak, luck or like just to go on the market, because like some people were buying their first Top Shot. They were buying Top Shot packs before they even knew what an NFT was, you know, whereas I came into the space, I knew what NFTs were, and then I saw it and I was like, okay, yeah, I could see how this has value. But to answer the question of like, how did it morph? It was kind of like, if I put a timeline on it, in January, Top Shot starts blowing up a decent amount. By the end of January, my account value's at like 50,000 to 75,000, I would say, probably. And at that point, I started dabbling with Nifty Gateway. And Nifty Gateway is another platform that's really cool because, like Top Shot, you can buy the NFTs with just a credit card or a debit card. And so on Nifty Gateway, it was kind of the same thing with Top Shot for a little bit, where it was every night something would drop. And if you got it, you could instantly sell it for 2x or 3x. And instead of it being cards worth $30, it was these art pieces worth like 500, 1,000, you know, kind of big money. And, you know, I was overextending myself. I'm not going to lie. I was like using my credit card and kind of spending money I didn't have. But it's because I knew, I was like, dude, like this is literally free money. Like it, and it was. And I was able to make the money back and pay it off. And, you know, dude, it's so fucking crazy. But before I had the money like that, I'd spent like $10,000 in credit card. And it was just like, all right, let's hope this fucking works. And then it did. And it's like, it's, you know, not financial advice, obviously. And I don't think the timing would work out now if someone tried that. But it's literally like, I was like, okay, like I see it right now. Like Top Shot, this is exactly what's happening. Nifty Gateway, night after night, this is exactly what's happening. And obviously, you know, I did end up overextending a little to the point where it's like, all right, well, now you know, some of these aren't selling. But by that point, it was house money, you know, as like, and that's kind of what every time it kind of became like with Top Shot, I put in $3,000, but I've spent 50,000 plus on the marketplace. Like, how does that work? It's because I've bought and sold, you know, and it's all just Dapper dollars. And now at this point I have like 200 moments, account values like 50,000, and whatever. I don't care that much. And I took out like 10,000 recently.
Just keep holding. I would keep.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's doesn't. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like, for like something like Top Shot, it's the kind of thing where if you have the series 1, like the first season of it, it's like we all saw that crazy, like you said, like your account was worth 250K, and then all of a sudden it's down, whatever it is. But like, it's the kind of thing that because we were so early to it, you just gotta like not look at it every day, because like you and I kind of like, I could see that we kind of shifted our focus from like primarily focusing on one NFT, like Top Shot or whatever it is, to like expanding to all NFTs. It's just like the entire industry as a whole. And like with that industry, because we were without like NBA Top Shot section, we were so early that holding those seasons, like that's the best advice I'd give to anyone. Like, you have the series 1, hold them. Like eventually those are going to be the rarest moments on the entire platform, just the series 1. And definitely. You seem to have a lot of them, you know, like I can imagine.
Decent amount. Yeah. It's messed up because when I first got into Top Shot, you know, end of December, I was doing streams where I would be like, I got $50. Let's go buy 50 moments on the marketplace. And all there was series 1 moment. And that's how it was. That's really how it was. And then, you know, February 28th comes around and every series 1 moment was at least $150. Like I have Zubox that I bought for $1 that I thought were trash. Like, who is this dude? And then it's like, I can sell this for $1.50 right now. Like, who is buying this? I should have known that was the top at the time. But to answer the original question a minute ago about like how it intermingles, like, because I live in New York, I can't take Top Shot money out in the form of USDC directly to my Coinbase account, for example. So like if I take out Top Shot money, it goes directly just to my bank account. And just because of where I am right now, I don't like to buy new crypto essentially. Like I just,
Yeah.
I have enough NFTs and ETH at this point where I just kind of, it's like how it was with Top Shot. Like I had enough moments where I can just buy and sell stuff as like I see fit essentially. So it's like, I have some NFTs that are pretty valuable, like for Cool Cats. Like I have 7 Cool Cats and all of a sudden the floor is 5 ETH on them. If I decide like, actually it did happen like the other day, like the mutants came out and I was like, ooh, the mutants look sick. Like, let me chop a Cool Cat real quick so I can afford a
Yeah.
mutant. And it's like, that should be everyone's goal, in my opinion. Get to the point where it's like, you're not putting in new money. You're not taking out money, because that's where you start to lose, in my opinion. Like you can sell NFTs for ETH and hold it, or like, take it out. But I think the best move right now is to either stack ETH or stack NFTs. And so it's kind of going to work hand in hand, but it's hard. Like it honestly is hard. But I traded Top Shot moments for stuff. Like dude, what crazy trade. I traded a Cool Cats Luka Doncic for a ghost at the time. And at the time it was like Luka was like $2,000. A ghost was, and
it worked out.
It worked out great, but then I sold that ghost so I could afford a Meebit. Like, and that's where it's like, yeah, dude, it's really weird. It's like hindsight is definitely 2020, and like it's kind of a mental game. Like some of my friends have a really hard time with it, honestly, where it's like, either they're leaving so much money on the table, or it's like, bro, I should have minted. I knew I should have minted, and now the floor is 2 ETH, and it's like there's opportunities every day.
Yeah.
Like it's really like
that's the thing.
It's like you gotta look on the bright side.
Yeah. It's like everybody, when you're looking at a Twitter influencer, just a person in general, that's actually, he could be a millionaire in NFT assets. The amount of times he missed out on opportunities is just as much as you are. He's just taking more hits,
even more, probably,
even more, because he's making swings. Yeah.
And dude, that's exactly, I equate it to baseball all the time. It literally is like, I'm successful because if there's 3 projects in front of me and I think, okay, each of those has potential, I can throw 0.5 at each of them. And if 2 of them are duds and one of them 10Xs, then I'm in the green for all 3 by a good margin, And so that's my mentality. It literally is baseball, law of averages. Like as long as you're swinging at good pitches, like as long as the projects you're buying into are actually show decent roadmaps or whatever, like that is, and that's where it comes back to not everyone can afford to do that. Like my original goal was to have 0.1 in my wallet at any given time. If I have 0.1, I can't take 3 swings at 3 different projects. So it kind of becomes harder where it's like, do I just follow the crowd and buy something that I think is going to go up? Or do I buy something that I like, even though not a lot of people are buying it? Or, that's kind of, every individual collector is different. We all have different preferences. We all have different views on what should have value. And at a certain point as a collector, or at least for me, it's come down to the things that I know I want as a part of my collection, or as a part of like my gallery, or like when I formalize my collection to the point where it's like I have stuff on a wall, whether it's physical or digital, I know it pretty much immediately. Like if I look at a piece of art, it's pretty much instantaneous whether I know like I like that or I don't like that. But that doesn't end the conversation, because I can look at a piece of art and say, I don't care much for the art. However, what are the tokenomics of it? Like why are people buying this outside of the art? Because right now it's really cool, because like people on the outside of the space don't realize that it's not just a JPEG. Like it's, what does the JPEG represent? It's really the deeper tokenomics of, when I buy a creature, like with the creature world, like that means that I'm a part of this creature world society. It's all utility. Like we in the space understand it, but people outside of the space kind of, they're yet to get it. And once they do get it, that's when we'll probably see another big boom. But even that, like, who's to say? Who's to say?
It actually even took me looking at these NFTs every day. I kind of just being completely transparent. Like it took me some time to really like actually see the utility in these NFTs, right? And there's like there's actually a wide variety of utility with these NFTs. Like, for example, owning a Bored Ape, you're part of this insanely strong community that they're constantly giving back. They're giving you the options to go. It's just by owning one Bored Ape, like you could already have made so much money just because of the things they just given back to you. And like, it just, you're part of this crazy club that you gain a lot of followers. You have access to like these events, and like, it's massive. Like that in itself is a crazy utility. But what I wanted to ask you before we get into like utility, because I definitely want to talk about that more. I wanted to know, because there was a point where you're like the king of changing your profile photo on Twitter, right? But
oh no, bro.
Like
sometimes like so I try to not change it more than like once a week.
Yeah, but like there's that time where you're like you changed, you had the cool cast, right? And then all of a sudden, like, bro, you just pull up with the CryptoPunk, like you said. And I wanted to know, like, what gave you that? What gave you the like, what did you flip in order to get all that ETH to buy the CryptoPunk?
Dude, I don't even want to say, because it's like stupid right now. Like, I sold a demon from the Ghost Collection. I sold an immortal from the Ghost Collection. Those two alone, it's like 200 ETH right now. So that's fucking stupid. And then a Bored Ape. So, you know, probably 275 ETH worth of stuff in today's value. And the punk at the time was 22 ETH. Mm-hmm. And now the floor for a purple hat punk is like 150, maybe more, but it is what it is. I'm happy to own a punk. I'm not going to be, sit here and be all upset about my moves. Cause like, the craziest thing that I was not expecting since I got my punk is that my Twitter followers went from like 4,000 to 21,000 in less than 2 months.
Well, that's like, the value,
that is
though.
Nuts.
That's
the social capital. Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's like you could have. I mean, first of all, the Ghost, by the way, like at one point, like he was selling his stuff was selling for like it was like dollars. I mean,
$3.
Dollars.
Yeah, the first one dude. Like I have one that I originally bought from him. I got it for 0.01. Like that's literally like $30 in today's Ethereum. Like that's insanity.
And dude, he's fire, but like he's like one of those like original. I'd say he's going to be one of the most OG artists in the space that's like making hand drawings or whatever. His shit's like, it's unique style. And it was just amazing how he went from being so cheap, and like, you can never see that this guy was going to be one of the biggest artists on the entire OpenSea just in general.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to see that shit, but I think it was a great move. You got the Twitter followers. It's owning a punk in like 10 years from now. The fact that Visa made that purchase shows that like,
it's literally like I'm riding this one for years. Like even if Ethereum crashes, like I don't see a world where a punk is selling for less than $100,000 ever again. I just really don't. Like, why? Even if everything crashes, like people value it that much. Like people, they just do. So like I don't know.
Yeah. And then so like, I mean, in our space, in the NFT space, a lot of people, they typically they like to stay anonymous. It's been a very interesting space where people, they'll make their NFT as their profile photo, which is part of the gig, but for the most part, they won't show their face. And I noticed that you show your face on Twitter. Not really, like you show a little bit of your personal life on your Twitter. And what made you decide that you wanted to show more personality to your people as opposed to staying anonymous?
Because my Twitter, it was just my personal Twitter evolved into my NFT Twitter. And so it wasn't like I was going to be like, I don't know. Like the thing about me is that like, I'm very much just like myself all the time. Yeah. Like 100% of the time I am like Dan Verno, Danny Ukes, and my CryptoPunk. It's like the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Like dead ass. Like it is all just, I am just one. But it's just fun. Like I respect the anonymous thing, and to an extent, like it has its pros and cons, obviously. But like, I don't know, if I have myself doxxed, it's like one that's people appreciate that, right? Like people like knowing who they're talking to. Like the fact that my full government name is like you can go find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like go find me. I'm Dan Verno. Like it's not really a secret, which I don't know, maybe I should, but I don't know. Like I'm an inviting person, I try not to let people take advantage or anything. And now that I have a kind of place of prominence in the space, so to speak. Like people hit me up all the time, and I try to give my time, but it's tough, when you receive 100+ DMs a day and you're used to helping people out and giving people your time and attention. It becomes like, a little more hard, but it is what it is. It's fun. And my big thing is like, it's not about me. One, it's not about the money. It's about the space, growing it out, and kind of taking things back. I think that's like the true power of the blockchain. Like we as people have been kind of sucked dry, like as artists, as creators, and as like even like tech innovators and video game makers and musicians, and everyone works so hard just to be happy and live a life that is comfortable, when it's like there's so much money to go around. We can literally all be happy. Like there's trillions, tens of trillions of dollars in the world. How does that make any sense that anyone in the world is homeless? Like how, like that's the type of mentality it's on. Like this type of, there's an infrastructure in place that keeps people poor and other people rich. Like, okay, this is going to sound insane, but I found this out recently. If you have $1 million, you can put it into you can convert it all to DAI, which is a cryptocurrency, right? Mm-hmm. And you get 2% APY. And 2% of $1 million is $20,000. So every year, if you have $1 million, you just generate $20,000 by keeping it saved in a vault. Mm-hmm. So if you have $3 million, you're generating $60,000 just by having it saved away. What the fuck is that? Like that makes me mad, because it's like people have hundreds of millions of dollars that just sits there and generates them more thousands of dollars, when people struggle to make $20,000 in a year from working full time. And so that's that's my bigger picture. Like this shit is fucked up. Like it's fucked up. And the fact that I was able to go from unemployed to essentially a millionaire in a year's time, like that they're like, it is the biggest redistribution of wealth in history. This is so monumental, and like getting that word out to people is kind of slower than it should be, in my opinion. Like I feel like everyone should be on this like full bore.
I feel bad. It's because it all stems from education. It's the fact that these people, I mean, some people in school are not being told like, hey, your money makes you money. They're being told like, you need to work hard, and when you work hard, you're going to make money. And then like, but it's like,
and then you gotta save the money.
Yeah, then you gotta save the money. You
gotta spend the money to make the money.
Yeah,
you have to take a chance. Like it's, and it's scary because like if you come from a background where you don't have money, like it's like $100 is the difference between, whether you eat that week or not. And so like, kind of like, but the thing about it is that people in those positions, like, I don't know, I'm not speaking for everyone obviously, but like people, when they have to face adversity like that, they like something comes out of it, like they either become a great creative or like a great thinker, or like, stuff like that. Like, adversity creates the strongest people. The people that live through the hardest things have the greatest story to tell, and so kind of empowering people in those just lesser of positions, just helping people, because that's really all it comes down to at this point. Like there's so much money in the space and we can help people. Like that's the bottom line. And so like, people are working on ways to do it on an active basis, and it's not something where it's just like one day you throw money at a wall and that's it. Like it's an ongoing conversation and a dialogue. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to get passionate about it for a minute, but that's really like, that's the bigger picture, No,
I think you're totally right. And what's interesting is that it like you said, we're in this generation where it's looking similar to like the 80s and 90s with the whole computer situation. We're like, and that's how early we are, right? But for some reason, people aren't getting it. And it makes me sad, because I'm looking at this person, my friend, my best friend from childhood or whatever it is, my family member. And I'm telling you, I'm like, yo, you need to understand this. This is important or whatever it is. But it seems that, like you said, as a kid, you were like, you were the gaming type, and so was I. I was the kind of kid who came home, threw my backpack at the wall, and just I gamed for 10 hours straight, like until
Yep.
two. So like it happens to be that this gaming culture, the comic book kids, like the kids that were just collecting and gaming all day are the ones that are getting this, and the other kids that are just for some reason they don't seem to be getting it. You know, it's like, and that's kind of like, it seems like it's our jobs to educate the people that weren't submerged in this culture beforehand and make them understand, like, hey, like this whole internet shit is fucking blowing up, bro, and
Dude,
like you need to understand what's going on. Like,
it's crazy. When I first started coming around with all this stuff, my friends were like, bro, you're allowed to talk about it one time a day. Like you do not say NFT
dude, I
in the
know
group chat. You have become an advertisement. Like, stop it. Stop. And I was like, guys, you don't get it. And like, eventually I stopped trying, because what what I've kind of learned, and like, you can lead someone to something, but you can't force them to learn it. Like, you can give them the book, but you can't force them to read it. Or like, you pretty much just have to, all we can do is guide them in the right direction. Like, so that's pretty much what it became, where instead of me being like, you guys need to put money in like right now, like you guys need to do this, it became like, yo, look what I did today. I turned, $40 into $500.
Yeah.
And like, money talks, obviously. So like, that's what it takes for your friends' ears to perk up or whatever. But that's such a minimal way to approach the space. Like, I don't know, because it's both hands. Like, everyone is constantly chasing money all the time, but it's also deeper than that. Like, when I got into it, it was play to earn. So yes, it has the money mechanic, but it's more about the fact, like, it's a whole new paradigm in gaming. Like, never in the past has it been, I play a game and I earn money from playing it, unless it's either high level streamers or professional players or, whatever else. Like, that was really the only way to make money. But now it's, and games are already out where you can buy in by owning NFTs, play the game with the NFTs, and then generate cryptocurrency from playing it. Yeah. And that's like, I don't know how much you know about Axie Infinity, but what ends up working out is that you can set up scholarship programs essentially. So like, I have a guild, right? So I have a guild of, I think I have upwards of like 100 Axie or so. Jeez. And I have, I know, it's stupid. I have 30 people in the Philippines playing for me, right? So every day they play a couple hours, and they're able to generate upwards of like $30 to $50, right, a day. And in the Philippines, individually, yes. Whoa. And so in the Philippines, you can, that's enough to feed your family for a week. So minimum wage in the Philippines isn't as much as playing this game, or at least it wasn't a couple weeks and months ago, but there have been some changes, so it might be now. But regardless, I have 30 people playing on a daily basis that game. So say they're bringing in even $25 to make it nice and clean, that like $800 or something like that a day, right? And so I pay them like 70% of what they generate. So if they generate $100 in a day, for example, no, that's too much. If they generate $50 in a day, I'll give them 70% of that, which would be like $35, right? So then I take the other 15. And what happens is, like, this has been going on for the past like month and a half. And so now, like, I don't even know, like, it's like $7,000, maybe more than that I have unclaimed of the in-game currency. And then I can claim that whenever, and just kind of, dude, it's bizarre. It's passive income. Like, it's every day. Yeah. And it's beneficial because, like, what I was talking about, redistribution of wealth, like in the Philippines, they can't afford to own the NFTs, but what they can do is give me their time. I provide the NFTs to them, and they play on my behalf, and then I pay them. And so, and like everyone walks away happy because, like, I don't have to do much, for my
new
end.
industry.
And from there, it really is. And it's 2022 is going to be the year where people really realize it. Like, the whole play to earn concept is going to blow people away. And people are going to be like, it's a scam, you know, how can you blah, blah, blah. But it makes perfect sense. Like, it literally makes perfect sense. And people, when I bought into Axie, like I said, it was like $60 per, and now it's like upwards of $180 or so. People were playing, doing these scholarship programs for $5 to $10 a day. You know, the fact that it's $25 to $30 a day right now doesn't change it. And a couple weeks ago, it was upwards of like $45 to $60 a day you could earn. Wow. But then it was like everyone started hearing about it, and then it crashed a little bit.
Yeah,
and they split the, yeah, exactly. So yeah, you know, obviously, but then like, you know, for anyone listening, like, it is everything. Like, this is new. This is everything about it. It's like the new paradigm. And like, I know that's literally the buzzword. People like to say new paradigm, but it literally is. Like, there has not been a technology so disruptive as NFTs and crypto in general, pretty much ever. Like, really, when was the last time? Like, electricity, probably. Like the internet.
The internet.
The literal
Social
internet. And this is the evolution of Web 2 into Web 3. So it's literally just the next phase of the internet. So like, yeah, dude, it's all crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, I was speaking this, I made a video on this a couple of days ago, and it was just talking about how before this, we sell, pretty much there was a structure to how one can make income. There was like a direct to consumer as a company. It's like, I make the product, I see, you buy it from me, and I ship it to you, whatever it is, and I make money off you. And then there was like the subscription based companies that were like, okay, I give you a service, you pay me monthly. Now with NFTs, it's like, all right, I sell you this image, and then you sell it to each other, and I make a percentage. It's an entirely
free
new,
for all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like
there's also different
happy.
types of drops, like all these different drop formats. Like, people are doing, you know, generatives, people are doing one of ones, like shadow drops just randomly. Like, it's you constantly have to be on your toes. Like, I find myself up at 2 a.m. constantly like, bro, how am I supposed to go to bed if there's so much going on? It's like, it's tiring. That's why, like, before you called, like, I was on the phone with Danny Cole, the creator of Creatures, for a little while, and after that I was like, dude, I like need to take a nap or something. Like, I'm so tired. I felt, because I was up until 3 last night, and then I was up at like 7 this morning, and it's just like, like calls and spaces all day, and like, so I had to take a nap. But no, it's all good. I'm back awake now. Got the energy back up.
Yeah, you're looking good, dude. Me too. I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep, bro. You just got it with this kind of space. You have to just keep going. People don't realize that this is like, people just think, oh, this dude's sitting at his computer buying and stuff. It's like, bro, this shit is all day. This is hard work. It's a grind, bro. Yeah. All right. So what I wanted to say now is like, okay, so you're talking about like you have that team out in the Philippines of 30 people, right? So we all watch, everyone in the NFT space. So it's a huge comparison to like what's going on now to like the Ready Player One movie, right? And they have those, I don't know if you watched the movie. Have you watched the movie?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah. But like in the movie, they have these companies, right? Where this guy, he essentially, his company goes public, and he has people that are hired to like play the video game for him, to like constantly generate money, to like constantly make money for them, collect tokens, whatever it is. And it seemed so far-fetched when the movie came out. But like now, like, you're an individual company basically who has workers under you playing a game. Like, this can get to a level where you have, I mean, hopefully, I hope for you that you have 100 employees, 200 employees.
Oh, like Coca-Cola will have an Axie Guild one day. Like, that's the idea. Like, in theory, what's going to happen is once you can start burning Axie, like, it's a finite supply. Right now, there's over 1 million active users, but there's only like 4 million, less than 4 million Axies. So if you look at it, everyone has enough for one Axie team and then maybe one more Axie. And so that works because like it's by Ronin address, and like for scholars, like I have a bunch of scholars, they don't have any Axies of their own, but I have a bunch that I lend to them. So like on their account, it doesn't show up that they have any, but the wallet is active and they're playing every day. You know, so it's just kind of like, it's wild. It's really wild. Crazy. As things scale up, it's going to be these companies that buy in on it. I genuinely do believe it. Like, I really can't believe Visa bought a punk the other day. That's about the most anti-crypto punk in spirit thing ever. But at the same time, it's like, let's go. It's
cool.
And that's where it starts. Like, it really, one day I really, like, I always say Coca-Cola. Like, I just feel like they'll have an Axie Guild one day, and it's gonna be like,
if there's money there, if there's money, the big guys are there. That's just how it works. And that's it's it's like what I always say is like, if you see extremely wealthy entrepreneurs and people that have been successful, businessly minded, like chasing something, don't ignore it and think your logic is better than theirs because they've been successful. So I like to think that, like we see that with like, even though like whatever your opinions are on Logan Paul, FaZe Banks, whatever, Gary Vee, you got to give respect to these guys. And like, they're all over this shit, dude. Yeah. They're all over this.
They're doing their due diligence. Like Gary Vee even said, like he tweeted out that like he didn't buy any NFTs for like 2 months after he found out about them, because it was just like, I want to learn as much as I can before. And that's kind of a valid strategy. Even for me, like I didn't sell any NFTs for a long time. Like when I got into Top Shot, I just bought mad moments. Like I wasn't selling anything. I was just buying. And then only after it started to kind of hit that peak was I like, all right, maybe it's time to sell. And, and that's like mid-February. So like in the January to February timeline where I was like finding out about other Nifties and like going on Nifty Gateway and stuff, like that was experimental and trial time from the broader NFT like perspective. And now, even from there, we've reached a completely different threshold where it's just every day we have 5+ drops of whatever, and it's just all generative stuff. And that's, obviously that's getting a little tiring, but there's still space for it.
Yeah, there's still room for it. But things are going to change soon. People are going to get creative, man. People are going to get, and once they get creative, it's going to go off. But that being said, about the generative, like the 10K generative projects, right? Obviously, like I have 2 questions for you. First of all, which community has the strongest community and will last until, because like we obviously know there's CryptoPunks and whatever it is, and there's the OGs, they're going to be there forever, it feels like. But beside the CryptoPunks, who has the strongest community in the space and just offers the most to like the owner?
It's got to be the apes. Like I haven't put one out in like 3 or 4 weeks, but I did the power rankings for a couple weeks, and the top 5 are pretty much the same. Like it's apes, to all extents, so like Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, Bored Kennel Club, all that. Cool Cats, Gutter Cats, probably Vogu, maybe. I don't know. I don't own any Vogu. I also don't own any of the Onis, the on ones, Oni or whatever. Don't own any of those.
But those, that community is crazy, by the way.
Yeah, they are crazy. I think the 7s are gonna be big, but I don't know. I know for a fact creatures are going to be big. Like the floor went up to like 2.2 and then back down to 1.7. And I don't know where it is now, but don't sleep on the creatures. I know for a fact those are huge. Really, like that's it though. Like if you look at everything else, like there's like the like lions are okay. Wicked craniums are good. I would list them up there. But like pretty much everything else is just kind of like here or there,
hype.
Even
like
really
the penguins at one point were at like 5, and I no matter what, I didn't budge on them, and I didn't want to get involved in that because I felt like that was like TikTok hype, and I kind of try to stay away from that. But like you could, when you're in the space for long enough, you could smell almost like what's bullshit, like what's BS and what's serious. And
pretty much. And it became hard because it's like there's so much separation. Like the blue chips and like the actual high like quality, high caliber teams are like just doing so much more than the scrubs. Like, there are countless amounts of teams that is just like, dude, I really don't want to drag anyone, but like, look at the Alien Boys. Like they came out so soon after the apes. Like it was like Alien Boys and then Yetis and then, or I'm sorry, Bored Apes, then Yetis, and then Alien Boys. And like the Alien Boys, I thought were pretty fire. Georgie was cool. Like community was pretty riled up. Like Alien Boy Summer, and to this day the floor is like 0.07. Like what? Like why? Where's the value? Like what? I really just don't get it. And another one is the sewer rats. Like that's my biggest bag. I have 63 sewer rats, and I think they're fire. Like the art is okay, but the tokenomics are cool. Like the fact that you can buy and sell other NFTs for chiz and use that chiz to buy and sell NFTs. Like they have their own marketplace on in their club. Like that's really cool to me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, people don't value it because of the art or whatever, but it doesn't, like the floor for those is at 0.05, like mint price. And it's just like, why, like why is anything? Like why do dude, I really don't know. Like why did Pudgy Penguins go to 3 ETH? Why are Party Penguins at 0.15? Why is why is anything priced the way it is? It's so hard to tell. And so that's why I'm like, at this point, I'm selling a bunch of stuff as like NFT beginner packs, like just a bunch of the projects where maybe those swing and a miss type projects, like whatever. I bought it for 0.07, like you can have it for 0.01, like just whatever. This and a bunch of other NFTs, just bundle them all up together, because the reality is, and this has happened in my wallet like at least 4 or 5 times in the past couple of weeks, where it's been like, oh, dude, I forgot about this project, and now I'm getting an offer for 0.07. Like, what the hell? Like this, like what's going on all of a sudden? And so that's like, I don't know. To me, those smaller numbers, like obviously, it's still money and it's valuable, but at this point in the game, it's like I'd so much rather just be focused on my blue chips, because there's so much other just kind of garbage muddying up my wallet. And it's not even necessarily that it's garbage, but it's just like, I don't have the time or attention span to go in the Discord, read up on the announcements for a project that's like a 0.02 floor. Like it's just like, but maybe someone else will value that, because it's like, and so that's kind of, I don't know, helping people out in some sense. One man's trash, another man's garbage, something like that. Or another man's treasure, something like that.
Yeah, treasure, yeah. It's true. It's like I remember I spoke to this guy who's actually, I think he might be close to Gary Vee. He's a cool dude. I helped him out in the beginning of his process with NFTs. And he called me and he told me he was a little bit intimidated, because it seems like I'm out here and like he's on Twitter and he's seeing all these people like that are just like talking it up, and it seems like they know what they're saying. And I was like, you know what, we might know a little bit more, but at the end of the day, there's so much that you don't know that we don't know. Like because it's so new, like as knowledgeable as I am or you are, like you said, like it's just like, why is this priced this way? Like price predictions and all that. Like my guess is it's a little better than like the average guy, but like at the end of the day, it's almost with these low level projects, like the blue chips, we can predict, but like these low level projects, it sometimes
it's a shot in the dark.
It's a shot in the dark.
It really is. It's a roll of the roulette wheel. It either like, it hits red or it hits black. You don't know.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, bro.
All right, I know you have to go soon, but I just wanted to do the last question.
Of course.
So that being said, right, even though we just said that, I know that the people who watch this, just to end off the video, they're going to want to know from you, what are some things to look out for the next week or next month coming out? Obviously, like you said, there's 5 projects every day coming out, but if you've seen something just with cool artwork, maybe even a new artist or whatever it is, what's something to look out for?
So, all right, I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to give you one project that's already out that I think should be on everyone's radar. I'm going to give one project that I'm working with directly, and then I'm going to give one project that I'm not working with that will be coming out in the next couple days. So the project that should be on people's radar is honestly, it's the Wicked CRANIUMS. So I haven't checked since last night, but the floor was on its way up, and I only own 2 of these, but I remember I minted them. They came out on Father's Day, I'm pretty sure. And I minted them from a baseball stadium, and I got a couple and I thought they were pretty cool. And pretty much immediately the floor went up from 0.07 minting cost or whatever it was to like 0.28. And so that was pretty fire. And then that was pretty much it. Like it got to a floor of like maybe 0.4 at one point, but then it kind of coasted down and it was sitting at 0.15 for the longest time, 0.13. Right now the floor is 0.81. So I don't know. I think these should be at least a 1 Ethereum floor. Like I think they're really cool project. I think they have definitely proved that they're in it for the long haul. And also like, I don't like, they're pretty sick. Like I think the art on these is definitely really cool. And I think people might appreciate that. So I don't know. That's one to look out for. It is a little bit more expensive, you know, that 1 Ethereum range, but you know, not a bad one to keep an eye on. The project I'm working for, if you look it up on Twitter, it's called CHIBI NFT. So at CHIBI NFT, and it's called CHIBI Legends of Warring Kingdoms. So this team is really exciting, and I'm happy to work with them because they are a team of mobile gaming natives, right? So they are people from like Zynga and like all those classic like apps that we were playing back in 2011, 13. Like,
Yeah.
That's the type of kind of experience. So working from back then all the way up to now, and kind of, you know, they realize like play to earn is not only the future, but it's not like the major publishers aren't the ones that are going to do it pretty much. Like it's going to be on indie startups and small teams to put this play to earn future and kind of get it into gear and everything. So definitely look out for that one. That's dropping on the 3rd of September for 0.055 a piece. There's 5,555 of them, and the drop is at 5 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, lots of fives going on that one. But that one's pretty cool. We're getting a decent amount of attention because one, I think the art is pretty cute. Like it's little chibi characters. So like, you know, the big heads, small bodies, and like, you know, whatever. But the game attached is the big deal. Like there's going to be a auto battler, and, you know, building out the roadmap right now. It's really fun. We have this interactive story thing that you can go and kind of, like the decisions of the community will end up being canon, like in what like the grand scheme of the like everything pretty much. Yeah, like almost. Yeah, in a sense. Almost. And there will be drops for early supporters and everything. So that's one to look out for from my perspective, you know, a little shill on my end. And then the other one is another project that's coming out that I'm big on, that I'm not affiliated with, but I'm actually about to hop in a space with on Twitter, is SKINZ. I need some water. Give me 1 second.
No worries, man. Let's check it out.
SKINZ with a Z.io. So it's like 10,000 packs with 10 cards in each pack, and the cards are called trading cards, but it's like traits. So like or like head and like shirt, like, you know, attributes essentially. So trading cards. And what it is it's like a build your own metaverse compatible voxel character or voxel character. Cool. Yeah, so you like say you get one that's like, you get one of the cards that's like an ape body and then like a beanie hat, and then it can have like a cowboy shirt or like, you know, whatever else, but you build it like how you want it to be from the cards that you have. And so that comes out on September 1st, which is either tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, dude, that's tomorrow. Yeah, one of the two. Either or, it's coming up, and that one's gonna be really cool. I don't know how hyped up it is, but I'm probably gonna get a decent amount of packs because I could see it exploding. And I'm like I said, I'm going to chat with the creator in just a minute here, so that's gonna be really cool. But yo, thanks so much for having me on. It's been such a great time. Love talking about whatever and anything, you know, and have me on again soon. I can't wait to see like how this one does. And yeah, totally, bro. Totally.
I'm happy, bro. Happy to get some knowledge from you. Definitely wish you best of luck on this Twitter Spaces, and also just in the future. I know that I'll be tracking you and your journey, and this just in general, your career. I know that you have a bright future, and well, that's it, guys. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching the NFT Kings, and that's Danny Hughes for you guys.
All right, see you guys.